What is going on in LA right now, and specifically with the Clippers? We will talk about the Lakers game as well as the next Boston Celtics game briefly at the back end of the video. But we need to talk about the Clippers. This is a team that was supposed to be a contender last season, and to a lesser degree still a team that should have done well and been considered a contender on a lesser end this season. They were some of the favorites last year and still one of the top teams in the league this year. They tank at the end of the season to avoid the side of the bracket the Lakers are on, and they end up facing the Dallas Mavericks as the 4 seed in the first round, and they like their odds better against the Mavericks than they did with the potential matchup against the Lakers. And they are now going into a scenario where they are down 2-0 against the Dallas Mavericks. 2-0 going back to Dallas. And so what is wrong with this Clippers team? That's what we're going to be talking about. Now, I am not a Clippers fan. I do not watch every single Clippers game, and so there could definitely be people that could tell you better about this. But here's my thoughts as an outside perspective, who does watch quite a few Clippers games, Stone nonetheless, and what I see is wrong with this team. So, generally speaking, I think Kawhi and Paul George have been decent this year. Again, tonight, George played well, 12-22 from the field, Kawhi Leonard 14-21 from the field. They both were fairly efficient. They don't have a playmaker in their starting lineup, though, which is an issue. Rajon Rondo played 19 minutes and had 7 assists. But I'd honestly argue Rondo should be starting over Beverly, and Rondo should be playing 30-plus minutes a game, because a playmaker is someone that this team needs, but they don't utilize enough, and they don't have enough of outside of Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo had the highest plus-minus on the team tonight for the Clippers. There's a reason for that. Rondo is a quality player, can create well, can play some good defense, has great experience, of course, from his time with Boston and the Lakers, and I think he should be getting more playing time. Reggie Jackson played 30 minutes, and Reggie Jackson's played fine, but I think Rondo needs to be that guy. Secondly, their general scoring outside of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George is non-existent. Marcus Morris is hitting mitts. Zubac is not really a scorer. Beverly's not a scorer. Batum's not a scorer. Ibaka has been injured too much, and that has really hurt them. Rondo's not a scorer. Reggie Jackson has nights. Terrence Mann just isn't quite at that level yet. They don't really have secondary guys that can score. You look at the Lakers, KCP's a really good three-point shooter. Kuzma has nights, although some nights he's terrible, but some nights he's also quite good. Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell. There's options. For the Clippers, it's Marcus Morris. And after that, that's kind of it. Sometimes Reggie Jackson. They really don't have that much depth offensively. But also, where was this best defense, or one of the best defenses we've ever seen? Paul George has been widely known as one of the best two-way wings in the league, along with Kawhi Leonard. Ivan Zubac is a good defensive center. Patrick Beverly was elite defensively. Now, sure, Beverly's aged since then. He's not as good defensively. Marcus Morris isn't a great defender. But Batum's a good defender. Rondo's still a decent defender. Reggie Jackson is a decent defender. Why are they allowing 53% three-point shooting against Dallas tonight and 58.5% from the field? That's just an effort thing. It just is. There's scheme and there's matchups and stuff. Sure. Whatnot. But this team has the personnel that Luka Doncic should not be putting up 39 points on 16-29 shooting. They need to be doubling him more. He needs to be blitzed more. Luka Doncic should not be allowed to shoot 29 shots. And if he is, it should be 29 bad shots where he's making 10 of them or 12 of them, not 16 and shooting over 50% from the field. And that's just not happening. Now, part of that's coaching, and some real questions have to come in here about Cy Lue. Part of it's just, I don't see Kawhi on Luka Doncic enough. I don't see Paul George on Luka Doncic enough. I've seen Beverly on him, and Beverly's a fine defender. But why not put just as good, if not better, defenders than Beverly on Luka Doncic, who have more size, who can disrupt him more, be his grill, be physical? But it's not happening. It's just not, and that's also an issue. And so, until this Clippers team can reconstruct the roster so they have some more offensive depth, or they can just actually figure out, hey, we're a good defensive team, we need to play like that, and the coaching adjustments seem to go along with it, this team's just in trouble. And the fact that it really showed tonight, just even by the minutes, that they really don't have a second option. No one else played 30-plus minutes tonight other than Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. 3 of their starters played 25 or more, or less. They don't have that third and fourth guy that's like, this is our closing lineup, this is our guys. It's like, no, they're still going 10 deep in the playoffs, and they don't really have those guys that they can rely on to play heavy minutes that are going to be consistent and contribute. And that's a problem, because as much as this team has depth, they don't have high-end depth. They don't have a, oh, here's a really good third guy in a contending team, and here's a fourth guy. Like, look at the Toronto Raptors of a couple of years, for example. Kawhi was your 1. Siakam / Lowry was your 2-3. And you had the likes of Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, OG Anunoby, Norman Powell. There was a legitimate 6-7 guys there who knew their roles, and you had your 2 and your 3 who were borderline all-stars. You had your 4 and your 5 as guys who had lots of experience, could score the ball for you, were good defensively. Clippers don't have that. That's the issue. Same thing with Lakers. LeBron, AD, there's your 1-2. And your number 3, you had the likes of this year's team, or even let's look at last year's team. You had the likes of KCP, who played very well. You have the likes of Kyle Kuzma, who played very well as your 3-4 guys. You had the likes of Alex Caruso, who gave you significant minutes. And the Lakers more so were just top heavy, and LeBron was that good, but they still had significant depth that could make some shots for you that could produce. Even more so with the Raptors, as an example, I think was a more complete built squad. As far as the depth goes, Clippers don't have that. That being said, the Clippers are in significant danger of now going out in the first round, and if I had to bet on it, I would say the Mavericks are going to win this first round series. And to be honest, if they end up playing now, they're going to probably end up playing Utah or Memphis in the first round. Dallas are the significant favorite, in my opinion, on that side of the bracket to get out of that side and get to the conference finals. I would take the Mavericks over Utah, in my opinion, especially the way they're playing right now on offense. Kudos to the Mavericks, but the Clippers got to shape up. Moving along to the rest of the games tonight, the Lakers and the Suns, of course, the Lakers won a close-fought battle. AD had a big bounce-back game, putting up 34, 10, 7, and 3. He shot the ball much better, got to the line for 21 free throws. He shot 21 of the team's 31, and that was a big impact as well. LeBron had 23 and 9. Drummond had a double-double. He looked a bit better tonight, but I'm glad that they saw that Marc Gasol still exists, and they played him 20 minutes tonight. Montrezl Harrell is not playing anymore, as he shouldn't in the playoffs, especially against someone the caliber of DeAndre Ayton and the size of DeAndre Ayton. Those are Marc Gasol's minutes to have, no doubt about it. Taylor Horton-Tucker also isn't really playing that much anymore either. But the Lakers went 6 deep. Now, Horton-Tucker only played 6, Matthews 4, and Morris 4. The fact they went 6 deep in a playoff game is quite interesting. Schroeder had a big bounce back tonight as well, put up 24 points on 50% shooting from the field and deep. Caldwell Pope just played decent defense tonight, but he ended up with a goose egg. Very limited bench points tonight for the Lakers as well, only 15. But AD had a much better game, and Schroeder had a much good game. And that is ultimately why they won, alongside a great defense that limited the Suns to 31% shooting deep and forced them to 13 turnovers, 6 more than they had themselves. DeAndre Ayton now, 2 playoff games, 2 double-doubles, 22 and 10 tonight. He's been absolutely dominant for the Phoenix Suns in this series. He had the most minutes for the Phoenix Suns as well tonight, which is absolutely crazy. You never would have thought that. You would think that would be Devin Booker, but DeAndre Ayton's been great. Devin Booker dropped 31 tonight, shooting 17 to 17 from the free throw line. That wasn't enough ultimately. He wasn't able to get going from deep either. But shout out to Cam Payne and Cam Payne and Cam Johnson off the bench. Cameron Payne dropped 19. He hit some crucial shots late in that game and late in the third and then the fourth. He also added 7 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks to that sally. Cam Johnson had 6. He had 2 back-to-back crucial threes late in the third to get the Suns back into it and keep it under a double-digit lead, and played some good defense on LeBron in the game as well. Chris Paul only with 6 points tonight and 5 assists. He only played 23 minutes. He's still struggling with that shoulder injury. It sucks. It seems like every playoff run that Chris Paul has, he picks up an injury, and it really just sucks to see. But hopefully he can improve his health as the series moves along to be more of an impact. But it's 1-1. The Lakers have the home court advantage now, but 1-1, this is going to be a close series. I know there's some people that have said, oh, the Lakers, LeBron lost game 1 again. He figured out his opponent. The Lakers are going to win in 5 now. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Suns have too good of a roster, too much fight, too good of coaching. I think this is too talented and too strong of a Suns roster to go down like that. I would expect this to still go 6 or 7, no doubt about it. But a good win for the Lakers, no doubt. And then I don't really care to talk about the Celtics and the Nets. Jason Tatum got poked in the eye and left early, so hopefully he should be back fine for the next game. Better game from Kemba, better game from Fournier, but I mean, let's be real, this Boston are not on level. And Brooklyn Nets look good on offense. Joe Harris hit a ton of threes. James Harden hit a ton of threes. And yeah, Brooklyn looks like Brooklyn should, and Boston looks like we kind of expected. And Brooklyn are going to win it 4-5. That's all I have to say on tonight's slate of games. I hope you guys did enjoy the video and enjoyed tonight's games. Let me know your thoughts down below on the Clippers and what is going to happen with them in forward in this season and what could transpire this offseason. Let's remember, Kawhi Leonard could be a free agent in the summer if he wants to be, and could leave the Clippers. Imagine that. Imagine they sign him, they trade for Paul George, they give up SGA and all of those first-round picks, and then Kawhi just leaves, and that's it. And then most they get is a second-round appearance in which they lose to the Denver Nuggets, and that is it. And then their future is absolutely terrible for the next 5 or 7 years. It's going to be interesting to see. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one.